Welcome back to the Star Monroe Show. And this is the final part of my mini series, The Wild Love Affair. 12 intimate conversations on coming home to who you truly are through embodiment, devotional living, and deeper intimacy. I feel quite sad that we're coming to the end of this series, and yet as one door closes, another door opens. And as this episode goes live, you're going to have a beautiful opportunity to come and join me for a private online event called the Unhurried Woman. It's running from the 29th to the 31st of August. And this is where we're going to deepen into this work, unhook ourselves from urgency so we can reconnect deeply to our bodies, our wisdom, and our rhythm. And also, this is a magnificent opportunity to see if the School of Devotional Living is the right next step for you, because this is where we take everything you know and we create a lifestyle that becomes you, where you thrive, where the foundations of you are you and not any conditioning or wonky beliefs or old generational lineage. It's a foundation that's built on you, which actually leads me stupendously into this today's episode, because I was going to call it medicines and poisons. I use these terms over and over again, and I didn't, though, because I was like, I'm not sure whether that would land. And so what I have called it is You've Always Known What to Do. It makes me want to tear up when I say that. You've always known what to do, and here's how to live it from within. And I'm so happy that I'm recording this episode today, because this morning I got a little reminder of my medicines and poisons. And I couldn't think of anything better than to share that story with you on today's podcast. But before I go into my story, which you'll see it happening in real time, and it is so subtle, and we're trained to dismiss our bodies. We're trained to dismiss our wisdom. We're trained not to live in our rhythm. And what this does, it makes us more compliant. You know, if we're always hooked on false urgency, we're going to be tired all the time. We're going to be disconnected. We're not going to trust ourselves. And also, living like this keeps us at the hands of our capitalistic society, which will peddle us endless quick fixes to take away the top level discomfort. And your job and my job is to build and cultivate the capacity so we can sit in our discomfort, sit not knowing, sit being not knowing the answers, and not bolt and not readily just pick the first thing that takes that away from us. And I used to live like this. I used to live like, oh, I'll just do this and I'll just do this and I don't want to feel this. And I didn't have the language for it at that time, though. I just was any quick fix gives my dopamine hit and that instant feel good factor. But I'm not here for the instant feel good factor. There's plenty of people out there for that. I'm here to guide you back to you, for you to create a sustainable life that just that holds you, that seduces you, that you never want to leave. This is the beauty of the work. And I think I said a while back, I don't know whether it was on a podcast, it was on a podcast, my work is not for the masses because the masses want the quick fix. And I know that as well because I've run many businesses online and offline, and there is a huge market for quick fixes. And there is fewer people, fewer human beings that want this work, that crave this work, that are called to this work. And because you're here, I want to recognize that. I'm crying today. I want to recognize that in you and honor that because you're one of the few. And this journey is not for the faint heart. I always have said this is for the warrioresses. And yet this path, because there is no path. I remember putting this on my fridge a while back. There is no path, there are no rules. How would you live your life? There is no path, there are no rules. It's very freeing, and it also bamboozles your brain as well, because every thought that comes in, you'll go, well, there are no rules. So you get to challenge everything. And I wonder, like, well, I know what living this way is, and I've seen it in my clients. It gives you so much more freedom. You expand your capacity to feel everything, to feel joy, to feel happiness, to feel sadness, to feel your fears, to feel discomfort, grumpy, irritable, ecstatic, feelings of bliss. You're opening yourself to feel all of that. Your creativity expands, your true gifts arise. There is no limit on what you're here to do. I don't believe we're here to do one thing. I follow that quote by Rumi, follow what lights you up, it will not lead you astray. And you become the version of you as you do that, and then you integrate that. It's very important. I talked about that last week. In last week's episode. It's very important that we integrate, and as we integrate, we take on those lessons. And this is a nod to always doing course after course and reading book after book. We have to integrate. We have to take time to really allow the wisdom that we've learned to settle into our bones, and for us to question, well, what do I want to take from this? And what do I want to leave? What feels right for me? And what can I discard? This is the art of discernment. And yet, if you're hooked on false urgency, if you're always rushing, your ego is going to be leading the way. You're always going to think it's not enough. You're going to have to do everything. I have to do everything. You don't have to do everything. I truly believe, and I've been doing my job for many, many years, that when you come into my world, you will take what you need. You will take what you need. You will hear what you need to hear. And I remember someone telling me that on a program I did, and I was just like, what? I will take what? And I was like, okay, take that. Like, really sit with that. And it changes everything. It changes everything. Just so much more ease. And so talking about living aligned on your path, which will appear as you walk along it. And this is why you have to be able to hold yourself in the unknown, uncertainty. And life is uncertain. That's never going to change. And the path will appear, and what will appear is a fuller, richer, more meaningful life. You change, you become more beautiful on the inside, changes you on the outside, changes your relationships, changes how you talk, changes how you communicate, changes how you ask for things, changes how you move through the world. You soften, you receive, you open yourself up to your inner knowing, your intuition. You live by your intuition. You live by your inner knowing. You stop scrambling. You stop spinning in your head. You stop letting your fears, which are not your fears, it's part of the collective unconscious. That's in a realm outside us, and we just get attached into it because we live in our heads. And you drop deeper into you, and isn't that the purpose of life? To drop deeper into you and to really live that. And a nod to this, because I very gently talk about aging in my work. I am 54. And this is potent work as we mature, as we become older, because I've worked with many men and women in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And the ones that would move, that had more fluid lifestyles, that enjoyed life, whatever happened, were the ones that knew themselves, were the ones that were at home with themselves. And here's the other thing about being at home in yourself. People can tell. People can tell when you're at home. There's an energy that radiates from you. You're easier to be around. People want to be around you. Whether or not you want people to be around you is another thing. And that's entirely up to you. But we see that especially in more mature human beings, the ones that live inside themselves, they're a glory to be around. And for me, the things that I cannot stand, never been able to stand, is surface level people, surface level conversations. I can tell, this is why I'm a good person to hire and to have on your team. And when I say team, I'm saying you. I see and I can hear what people can't see and hear. And I can hear when people are holding back in the way that they talk, in the way that they present themselves. And to be able to be fully inside you, to be embodied, is everything, is everything. So coming into today's episode, you already know your medicines. You already know them. That's a mantra to walk around with. I already know my medicines. These are the things that make you feel alive, strong, and clear. These are the rhythms that bring you back into your body. The conversations that clean the air, the way that you talk, the choices that expand you. And on the flip side, you already know your poisons, the habits, the patterns that dull your edges, the people and situations that pull you from your rhythm, the yes you give when your whole body says no, and the pace that keeps you running from yourself. No one knows you better than you. No one knows you better than you. And as I said in the previous episode, you don't need another plan, another framework. That's your ego talking to you. You don't need another top 5 things to do before breakfast. And you just need to stop looking at people with their morning routines online, because that works for them. You know what works for you. You don't need someone telling you what to do. You don't need a mummy or a daddy. And that's the thing with us in our psyches. We have many parts. And I said a while back, you have to know which part is running the show. And it was over 2 years ago, I was like, I'm aligning myself with my higher self. And your higher self, your genius is in your DNA. And our job is to clear all the dust bunnies that we collect over our life, from gestation, being in mummy's womb, coming out into the world. We collect so much stuff that's not ours. And our job is to relinquish it, let it go. And there's grieving about that as well. There's grieving about past identities. There's grieving about our youth. Because I get it, like our society really peddles that. Our value comes from our youth. Our visibility comes from our youth. But this is where you've got to question everything, and you get to determine what rules work for you. There are no rules. There is no path. And you need a guide who can stand with you in the space between your knowing and doing, so you can finally close that gap and become it. Let me tell you the story of this morning. And I wrote some notes down. I thrive first thing in the morning, early. And for me, my early's my early. So it's like waking up around 6 a.m., just as the sun is rising. So it probably changes as we go into winter. So as the sun rises, I wake, and the sun will wake me up before I will have an alarm, but it always wakes me up before my alarm. And it sets my day up so beautifully when I wake up early in the morning, because I sit outside, I have my coffee, I journal, I read my books, I play with the kittens. I thought the kittens were in my room, but I think they've wandered off. I'm just going to shut this door. And I I wake up early so I'm not rushing in the morning. And I have learned not to put anything in my morning. The only thing that I do 3 to 4 times a week is I get on my bike early in the morning because it's so hot here in Turkey, and I cycle to the gym. But I'm not rushing. This is, it's all there. It's like I know what I'm doing, and I don't add anything in. And I've been able to do this because I divested my life. I made my life simpler, made it more elegant. And so I could listen to this. And none of this came about because I told myself I had to do it. Because that comes from discipline. I have to get up early. I have to do this routine. I have to do this. No, I know. You know your medicines. I know when I get up earlier, everything falls into place for me throughout the day. I am way more organized. I have time to relax, to rest throughout the day, because rest for me, rest isn't sleep. Rest integrates itself into my life. I have my meals. Everything rolls out beautifully when I wake up in the morning. Now, on the flip side of this, what that means is I have to have my evenings for myself. I don't tend to put anything into my evenings. And when I took this break away from my business, the question that I pondered, I was like, well, when do you want to work with clients? And last year I was working with clients, my evening time. And that doesn't work for me because I need to unwind around 7 p.m. and go into my evening routine, which is no work. I'm not on my computer. I'm not on my phone. I'm just pottering around. I love pottering around. It makes me very happy. And I give myself time to shower, and then I go to bed and I read. And I fall asleep, and I have a deep sleep because I've set myself up to have deep sleep, and sleep is really important. I think the sleep is number one, and the early mornings is second. So there's a lot of moving parts for me to be able to get up in the morning, and I'm normally in bed latest 9 p.m. and I really like that. So yesterday, we had the opportunity, my son and I, to go out on a private boat tour around Olidanes. And I was going to say no to it. The captain came back and she said, I've got space. Would you like to come? And I was like, no. And I was like, oh no, let's go and do it, because I've been at the computer a lot, and George, we don't really do a lot. Live simple lives. I said, let's go and do it because it's his birthday week. So anyway, we went out and it was glorious. It was so amazing. The sea here is spectacular. The colours, the mountains, it's warm. And we did it in sunset. So we just watched the sun drop down behind the mountains. It was just so good. But what it meant was, I mean, I don't know how you are, but when I'm out on the sea, it wears me out. Sea air, swimming in the sea, just get exhausted. So I came back, went to bed. Probably an hour later, I woke up and I didn't sleep very well as well because of my routine. I always think we're still babies, like we still have our baby psyche inside us. So we have to tend to that baby psyche, the infant part of us. And so I didn't sleep very well. I was restless sleep. And I woke up this morning and I was so tired. I didn't wake up as well. I woke up like at 8:30. I was just like so tired. I was like, oh my God, I am exhausted. And I couldn't do anything. And I just sat there with the kittens and I read my book and did some journaling. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do? And I was like, oh, maybe I'll have another cup of coffee. And then I got up and I was doing some washing up and I sat and I was standing at the sink and I was like, ha, there you go, Miss Star Monroe. Your medicine is in action. Your poison is in action. And isn't that the irony of it? Because I knew I was going to come and talk to you about this, the irony. And so the moral, the lesson is that yes, I can go off and do different things and go off and go out for a sunset cruise every now and then, but it will disturb my morning. I cannot do everything. I don't have the energy to do everything, and I'm not here to push myself through it. So when I was standing at the sink this morning, I was just like, got it. You didn't have a good night's sleep. You were busy last night because you weren't winding down. You were out on a boat. It was great. And today we need to take it easy. We need to take it slow. You're tired. And in fact, I just peeked outside and my son is asleep. He's like, I'm really tired. So it's worn both of us out. And I was like, you can't do everything. And the thing is, if I'm not aware of all of this, if I'm not aware of how I'm feeling and I'm tired, if I'm not connected to my body, then what's going to happen is I'm going to be in my head and I'm going to start to have a go at myself. You got up late. Oh my God, your day's going to be wasted. Oh, you always do this, because there is always this voice, this inner critic that pipes up when we don't uphold our rules. There are no rules. And so this is why it's important to really be attuned to yourself. It's no one else's job to be attuned to you. And so for me, this was like this real revelation that, oh yeah, mornings really work for me when I get up early, and I have to have my evening routine too. Now, you may or may not be like me. You might have a little bit more flexibility to you. You might be a night owl. It doesn't matter. But what matters is that you already know what works for you. The gap is between what you know and you're not living it, and that's costing you. Because every time you override yourself, every time you don't listen and act upon your medicines, you're going to erode your trust in yourself. Over a period of time, that erodes your self-worth as well. And what it does, as I said earlier, it makes it way easier to believe the lie that you can't rely on your own wisdom and you have to rely on everyone else. Buy more courses, read more books. You don't need to. You know what is good for you. You're here. I know you're here because you're listening to me or watching me. You're here to live in alignment, full alignment with your own knowing, to listen to yourself and believe yourself the first time, to act on your body's cues without debate, and to create a life that doesn't just look good, but feels like medicine every single day. This is the world of the unhurried woman. She trusts herself so deeply, she doesn't need the outside noise. She moves within her own seasons, her ebbs and flows, her peaks and valleys. She knows when to speed up and she knows when to slow all the way right down, like today. Like I knew I had to slow all the way down. She knows when to hold and when to release. Think about that. And as someone who has a past history of clinging on to things, this is something I'm learning more and more. especially in the last year and a half, letting go. Let go. Something coming your way, let go. Let go. You have to let go so you can evolve. Well, human beings, we evolve all the time. We're not here to be like one version of us. We're here to continuously hit the shores, shatter into 1,000 pieces, and reform over and over again. The unhurried woman, she listens, she responds, and she lives as her own authority. You already know what to do. I'm here to hold the space where you stop delaying it. That's the work we do inside the School of Devotional Living and inside private mentorship. My job is to anchor you so fully in your own wisdom, your own body, your own rhythm, that living it becomes the only option. I'm looking forward to seeing you at my event, 29th to the 31st of August, the Unhurried Woman. It's a private event online, so you can attend from anywhere in the world. There will be recordings, and there's a private group as well. I'm thinking about what we've got with this. There's a private group, so I'm going to be available to enter into conversation, answer your questions. And this is the perfect, as I said, the perfect opportunity to see if the School of Devotional Living is a right fit for you. School of Devotional Living is a small immersive. It's 3 months, 25 women, where I'm guiding you back to you. Everything you need is in the show notes. Until next time, in devotion.